Hello, everybody. It is
Hell,
April 16th, 2024, 7 o'clock p.m. EST, and you are watching episode 2020, episode 23 of the DOVECOTE,
episode 2023.
episode 2024.
Congrats on the clearing the 2K mark on these
Yeah,
episodes.
with Grief So Dearly. Grief, introduce yourself. Say hi.
Hi, hello. We're GriefSoDeerly, a trans plural girl system that streams on Twitch and is frankly speaking less involved with tabletop RPGs than most of the people that show up on this show, but hey, we're here, we're queer, and we're full of fear. Let's do this. Hi.
Listen, like, Grief is a person, I think, over, like, the past couple months that I've been playing a lot of games with, and also am now working on a game with.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's important for me to I don't know. I both want this to be a place where I can like bring really folks who have a lot of TTRPG experience and like my friends on and like
Fair.
people who
No,
uh
fair. And I mean, we appreciate it as well. Again, playing more games with you and, working on projects more recently. Because, again, part of our thing this year has been diving headfirst into tabletop RPG development. So we have dived headfirst into tabletop RPG shit.
yeah.
For like since the start of the year, we have immersed ourselves much deeper in it than we ever have before. It's been great. It's been a
uh
fantastic time.
Tell me, tell me and tell the audience because I think I mostly know. Tell us about the things that you've been working on.
Oh boy. So well, besides we stream a lot, so our personal projects are streaming on things, variety of games, artwork, all that stuff. Let's focus on the tabletop projects. Before we get into the meat of them, which is our project together, uh, we've started a personal project here. Or, all right, let's do these in the wrong order. Let's do these in the right order. My, I'm great at words.
You're good.
I'm a natural at talking. Uh, so our experience in tabletop RPG, last year's sometime early in the year, we wrote a small supplement for invading the realms of gods you were never meant to enter, called The River Beyond and Between. We threw it on itch.io for free at some point. No formatting, nothing, just kind of threw a document together about fucking up character sheets.
Yeah, it's
I
awesome,
find
by
it
the way. I really
somewhat.
like it.
Oh well, thank you, thank you. We're fond of it, honestly. At some point, we'll go back and clean it up and get a proper like run through on like to make it look nice. But we're happy with how it turned out as a supplement we threw together realistically for one tabletop game we were running at the time. Oh, bird, how
Bird
lovely,
here.
bird here. Um, we more recently started work on a project that is still not fully titled, but we're gonna go ahead and pull up our notes here just to read the opening prompt as it is written because we're fond of how we wrote that. We
Hell
think
yeah.
it's funny. It's a game we've titled Pizza Driver Caustic in its current form. The name is subject to change.
Hmm.
We'll play with it properly. Um, which is very simply, you've taken on this power, a power vaunted, a power worshipped, to fight in the name of the nameless, to speak for the silent. It will one day rip you limb from limb, and the viscera remaining will writhe and roar and be the beast you aim to slay. Tell me now, when will it consume you? Pizza Driver Caustic is a game about using and being consumed by the power of monsters you fight in the name of delivering pizza.
It's really good. I'm very excited to see what you do with
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, so that's a rough hack of Blades in the Dark from what we've got planned so far. There's not a whole lot for us to talk about on that front, but hey, it's a project in the works, so keep your eye out for that.
Hell yeah.
And last but certainly not least, the big one here. Our collaborative project, It Can Only Be Done.
Yeah, we're working on a big uh road trip
We're
fantasy
working
game.
on a road trip low fantasy game about things getting weird and escaping death
Yeah,
and
the
cults.
world ending and
The
cults.
world
Yeah.
ending and cults. It's been a lot of fun to work on.
Yeah, I've really been
Yeah.
enjoying it. We're kind of slowly picking at it because it has like basically what happened is I was like Hey, I want to make an OSR game or an OSR-ish game, and then we didn't do that, but
And
I
then,
think we landed on is
yeah,
really good.
yeah, no, I think we really love what we landed on, but it was great because Eclipse mentioned this idea and we went, all right, hit us up, let's work on it. And then Eclipse did that for real,
Yeah,
which caught
smiles.
us by surprise. And here we are now. So never forget, if you say something dumb, just go ahead and say it, and sometimes things will work out in your favor.
Yeah, say dumb things around me because I don't know how to say no.
It's
I mean,
great.
I tried to. At this point, I kind of have to because I have so much going on. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you have to get better at saying no to things, honestly.
I do. I do.
You got so many projects going on. Uh but yeah, it's a really cool little project that started as us again theming an OSR system, and now it's kind of like a quasi board game thing. Uh it's got
Yeah,
some fun it's got a lot of fun elements going on that we haven't quite nailed some stuff down yet, but
you have like a Resident
it's
Evil style caravan storage.
yeah, Resident Evil style caravan storage.
You have like ability cards basically, but they're like fictional, like in Fate.
Yeah, we have like an adjective based card system.
Yeah, it's gonna be
It's
awesome.
it's gonna be so cool.
Yeah,
We're having so much fun. It's great, and it's a fascinating work process considering Eclipse has built most of the world for this uh game we're working on, whereas we have dedicated ourselves to squirreling away and writing one small corner of the world really, really detailed instead,
because like you're
which
from a
is great.
specific place, which is really fun.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
your characters are always from this place.
Yeah. All characters come from this one specific place, and guess what? It's a cult, baby.
It's a cult. You come from a
It's a
cult.
cult. So while Eclipse has been doing fantastical world building, we've been writing cult doctrine.
Yeah. Uh,
It's great.
I'm definitely very much on like my. I still need to play Pathologic, but I feel like I'm on some Pathologic
Mhm,
shit a little bit, where I'm like the reason I've been writing is what is
mhm.
it? It's the Pitch Acre? No, it's Pitch County.
It's Pitch County.
Yeah, and it's like built around all these like old like pitch factories that these like
Mhm,
seafaring folk like live in and
mhm.
like have repopulated. And also
Yeah.
just burning pits of tar. It's
Hell
really
yeah.
cool.
It's really fucking cool. We're very excited to have more to show everyone at some point because we're very excited on this project. It's so much fun.
Yeah, same here. So
Mhm.
I would love to hear because I feel like I actually don't know much about this. So what is your experience like? What's kind of been your journey with like TTRPGs, and playing them and making them and
Fair?
stuff?
Um so it starts back in uh middle school, I guess, just before high school. Um Older brother's friends came over. They played D&D a couple times sort of thing, and I wound up being bored one day and having nothing better to do, and they went, "You want to make a character? Do you want a character sheet?" And I went, "Okay, sure." And this is like D&D 4th edition.
Hmm.
Um which, it's okay. It's okay at best. It's not great. But it was our first time ever experience role playing at the table with the dice and the bones. Our only other role playing experience before that coming from an elementary school passed around binder role play experience based on the Warriors books about cats.
That's awesome.
One, which is great. It was funny and great because we passed this binder around and we'd each write like role play sections in like the library at lunch or recess or whatever. And it's great because I remember distinctly one time I got in trouble from my parents because I printed off a bunch of JPEGs pulled from Google of various medicinal plants for this purpose. And they sat me down going, "Are you trying to learn about drugs?" And I had to
That's so
explain to them
funny.
at length, "No, this is not a drug thing. This is me being a huge dweeb. It's different. It's fine." But so playing first time playing around with the dice, stock standard Elven Warrior RPG type, the standard, you're fucking Luke Skywalker, you're dweeb hero. Yeah, that one's a real Yeah, that Warrior Cat story is a deep cut I don't think we've
It's
ever told
really
out
good.
publicly. We've
It's
never
kind of
told that
awesome.
one publicly. It's a hell of an experience.
Those things can have an effect. Like those things really have a big effect on like how you wind up playing games. How you wind up thinking about games, though. Like I
Oh,
know
absolutely.
so many people, so many really successful people in the TTRPG scene who
Yeah.
like they're they come from like LARP camps. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
I
which
know
is
like
sick.
yeah,
Yeah.
Brendan Lee Mulligan. I know Jay comes from some of that stuff.
Yeah,
So like
yeah, we remember
it's
Jay talking about that, which is great. Yeah, so ours again, not quite as interesting a
mhm.
experience as a LARP, but hey, it's something. Um, but a lot of our experience was just playing like D&D 4th and 5th edition. That first campaign we were part of fell apart for interpersonal drama reasons between my brother and his friend, and it was a whole thing. No need to get into all that. But eventually finding our own group with people that at the movie theater that we worked at the time, where they'd play after the theater closed at like 1, 2 a.m. They'd play. So we'd go, all right, let's play. Jumping in. And really our view on tabletop RPGs has shifted as of late because I was a lot of playing D&D, 4th edition, 5th edition. And there's a specific point that we've come to realize, especially as of late, and that's that Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's kind of bad. Is
It
the
just
problem.
sucks. And the more I think about it, the angrier I get about it just sucks. Every part of it there's something better. And there was a long time where our policy has always been I don't read the rule book going in. There's no need. We don't read it. We read it on the spot. When we make a character, that's our first time cracking open a rule book. For the longest time, which is an unfortunate attitude, we think, now looking back on it, because
Hmm.
there's so many very well written books out there when
Yeah,
it comes to
absolutely.
rule sets. And so we kind of hit a point where we realized our philosophy about games had changed. We noticed we were playing a lot of characters who were like very angry and stunted characters who were just kind of forced into a role they didn't want to. That has nothing to do with us realizing we were trans, by the way. That just happened.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Uh, uh, you know, um, which is a lot less fun a story to us. And we realized we care much more about playing a story where we're just some fucker. We're
Mhm.
just someone there. But stories of love are more interesting, we think. Uh, and that's kind of where a lot of our philosophy changed. So that led us to actually start reading other rule books because, you know, we weren't getting what we wanted out of D&D 5th edition. Weren't ever going to be getting that. And I think one of our biggest experiences was running Root, the like little
Mm.
tabletop game they made out of the powered by the apocalypse hack they made out of the board game of playing
Yeah.
a bunch of weird woodland vagabonds fucking about in the woods, and which was a grand old time. It's one of our favorite powered by the apocalypse systems. We can't say our favorite because, well, it's not, but it's good. It's fun, and it was nice to just embrace something different a lot of the time.
Yeah, the thing that like, I really agree that like I feel like there is a philosophy that kind of shows up in D&D players, and I feel like I've seen it at
Mm,
some tables that with like playing other
mm,
games, which is like you don't need to read the rule book. Like you
yeah.
basically just need to read like the character creation stuff, and then like you just need your imagination. And it's like people put so much work into rule
Hmm.
books and making them
Yeah.
like useful aids for playing the game, but like entire
Hmm.
mechanics that you wouldn't understand or know to use as a GM or a player, and it's yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree.
And yeah, and it's a shame because again, you can get so much about the character of someone who, you know, reads when you read those, you get so much about the world and you just get a feel for who the writer is and what they're trying to communicate with the game.
Mhm.
And again, this is a point we're going to come back to so many times over the course of this, by the way. Probably, which is that the unfortunate thing is that for a lot of players, the first game they ever get exposure to is Dungeons and Dragons,
Yeah, it doesn't have a soul. Like it's
which
not a
is
game that they have to.
soulless and is an awful read. The
Yeah.
books suck. They're badly written. They have no character to them. Here's the point of this episode today. Fuck Wizards of the Coast.
I'm not a
That's
big
it.
fan of them. I've
Not a
said this
fan.
before. I feel like there are a lot of sections, especially if you look at the DMG. In fact, I have it if I wanted to
God,
peruse
yeah.
it. It has so many bits that are just like, this is just like this is not useful information. This is just here to like, check a box. This is like they put in a couple paragraphs here to like pretend that they're explaining this mechanic.
Exactly. It's just a they're pretending they're explaining things. They're pretending they're giving you a glimpse of some grand world here of ooh, that there's nothing there. There is no grand world they're hiding. It's just boring. It's checkboxes and spreadsheets. It's a numbers game, and that's not fun. There's
Yeah.
no care beyond the numbers, which sucks because our friends who are really into Warhammer love that shit, and
Just
we
play
can't
Warhammer.
stand it. They
Yeah.
just want to play Warhammer all the time, and we don't want to do that. The last session, we love our in person team crew to death. I hope they never see this. If you do, hi, pals. We're
Hi,
sorry. Only
friends.
one of you listen. Only one of them will actually possibly listen to this, and we know for a fact he agrees with us.
Mhm.
Which is that the more they play Warhammer, the more you feel it bleed into the table.
Mhm.
Oh, come on, Grimace. Don't call us out like this. Come on.
Recording this and sending now.
Oh no.
Damn.
Our wife is getting us
That's
destroyed.
so messed up.
Our wife is fucking exposing us to white boys. Um so the more you that Warhammer presence bleeds in, it's these angry, aggressive stories of playing colonizer a lot of the time. Unfortunately, and playing conqueror, and that sucks. That's not fun. And
Yeah.
we sit down, and when it's not that, it gets a change. It's a hey, do you want to play a kingdom management simulator, including all the number crunching and a spreadsheet? And it's like,
God.
no, I don't
I'd
want to do
rather not,
that.
in fact.
I would rather not do that. If, frankly speaking, if we can go a session without even looking at a number or a dice box, that's a success. So it's unfortunate that so many people's first exposure to a book, to reading a rule set, is Dungeons and Dragons, any edition. Doesn't matter. Choose any edition. It's the wrong choice. Bad.
Yeah, I think you bring up a really good point, which is that I think that like it is it becomes really obvious the more you play with like a lot of people and, go to a lot of different tables and run your own stuff and
Mhm.
make your own stuff that um intentionally or unintentionally when you play something else or when you work on something else, you are affecting the sort of like priorities that you're going to have when you come back to another thing.
Yeah.
I think like a good example is the break that I'm taking right now for probably like this week or so, where I'm basically just writing God game cards.
Yeah.
Is I would say almost intentionally so that I can write more interesting mechanics for Sapphic World. Like I
Mhm.
want to like encourage myself to think outside the box and put myself in that
Yeah.
headspace. Um,
Absolutely.
and you can also unintentionally do that, like playing Warhammer and then bringing like Kingmaker shit to your table.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it has that effect, and it's really just a fucking shame that they couldn't choose something better, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like, listen, buddy wants if listen, if our friends want to go and play other games and bring that experience to the table, we love that. We love that sort of bringing that experiences together. Please don't choose the fascism simulator.
Please
Please don't.
don't. You don't
I
have
don't.
to.
You don't have to. You can leave that one at home. You can leave that one outside. We don't need to bring that to the table. But no, it comes to the table, and that's an unfortunate part of it.
Yeah, it'll happen.
It'll happen. It'll happen. But nothing we can do about that at that point, unfortunately, except for look elsewhere.
Yeah, so I'd love to hear about games. I mean, I know some of them. I'd love to hear about games
You,
that like you're excited about and have been playing recently and enjoying recently.
yeah. So, I mean, you definitely know several of them. Have you ever heard of a little game called Sapphic World?
I don't know of it. It's not.
Never heard of it. It's a hack of Powered by the Apocalypse written by one I don't I didn't read the name actually. I didn't bother. Uh Anyways, it's about lesbians and that's probably it, I
Oh, that's
think.
cool.
I don't Yeah, it's pretty cool. I didn't read the book.
I've been really enjoying watching you play it. It's been awesome. Like
Thank you. It's been such a joy
your
to play.
character in New Orleans is a very good
We
uh
have been
egg.
playing a we've been playing a miserable little rabbit man who has no idea why he is miserable or dealing with these problems. Anyways, she'll realize who she is eventually,
Yeah,
but
she'll
not yet.
understand.
She'll understand later.
Just not
It's
today.
fun. It's just fun because and it's something that we've been craving at the tables, which is experiences and stories about love and connection between
Mhm.
people because that's the joy of games for us is connections between people and what characters have to connect with each other.
Mhm.
So Sapphic World's been fascinating for that. A little game called Euphoria 2180, written
Yeah,
by our
by
wonderful
Lilith.
friend, mutual friend Lilith Lilac Leviathan.
Yeah,
It's incredibly good.
good
Um,
game. You
we
ran
have a
some
map.
Thirsty Sword lesbians, which was awesome.
Yes, we will return to that eventually. We promise. We promise.
Yes.
So much has happened because we've been very busy with a
Oh, of
lot of things,
course.
but of course, once we again get our own moves settled and everything, we promise that we'll return.
Hell
We
yeah.
promise to you, to Shuki, to Courtney. We promise it'll come back. There'll be more. But Thirsty Sword Legends is another great one because it's a well written book.
Yeah.
Mostly. Mostly. There's a couple issues with parts of it we have, but it's
Yeah.
a well-written, fun book full of character. Other games that we adore are and this has been one of our primary influences for a lot of things and why we love it. Scum and Villainy, the
Hmm.
sci-fi hack of Blades in the Dark,
That's a good one.
is one of our favorite systems. We love that system to death. Um, it's just a fantastic little modification on Blades in the Dark. It's just a fun heist system. It's great. We love the Forged in the Dark systems because anything that focuses on camaraderie and heisting is our thing. We love that shit.
Yeah. Blades is
Yeah.
awesome. I've been
Blade.
like it's a system that I think has been growing on me over the years.
Hmm.
Because like I think on paper a lot of it is like a little bit harsh, but like when you really start playing it, it's like, oh, okay, this is what this game is trying to do. Um,
Oh yeah, absolutely. And parts of it feel harsh, but at the same time, the thing about it that's really fascinating to us is that parts of it feel harsh, absolutely, and perhaps it depends on the players at the tables, but there's a tenderness to it as well.
oh yeah,
There's a gentleness to elements of it, especially when you think of like, the overcapping and the character effects when you take on different conditions stuff after capping out your various stress and everything like that.
mhm,
There's a lot to it as a character study, and that's fantastic. We love that shit. We
yeah,
love that shit. Games that are more character studies, and that's kind of what, if talking about our older project, The River, that's kind of what described it because it's a system edition, it's a system agnostic thing that focuses on tearing apart character sheets
mhm,
and getting to the core at it of what makes it, what is your character? If you take everything else away, what matters most to you as a character? What are you willing to sacrifice? And we love games that do stuff like that, and we like physicality in our games. So tearing apart a physical character sheet is encouraged in
yeah.
any situation.
I think like things that allow and encourage and require artifact creation
Hmm.
is like that's an area of design that I've been like kind of exploring recently, and
Oh,
it's so
absolutely.
much fun. Like the idea of just like you do this thing and it's like you just have this thing to keep with you is really
Oh
fun.
yeah, absolutely. And that brings us to one of our other major influences that we've adored is that with one of our good pals in person. We played a game of Sleepaway, and this was kind of our first exposure to like
Oh
Jay
yeah.
Dragon and what Jay's done. Is playing Sleepaway over like 3 nights,
Hmm.
and it was fantastic. It was an incredible little experience telling a wonderful little story, and we burned at least 4 different cards
Hell yeah.
from a card deck, among other things that were destroyed. We fucked up a lot of stuff doing that, and it was fantastic.
Yeah. There's something cathartic about like making or destroying something as part of play. I think
Yeah,
it's really
absolutely.
exciting.
Yeah, no, there's a video somewhere we'd have to go find of us standing around a fire pit in the backyard burning parts of the board.
Yes,
It's
good.
great. It's great. Um, but yeah, games that focus on telling these character stories, because at the end of the day, when for us, an interesting story is at its core about a handful of characters.
Mhm.
Because you can tell us the story of a kingdom, the story of a world, of a continent, and that's great. And that's all fine and dandy. But frankly speaking, a lot of time, I don't care.
I just want some
That's not.
guys.
Tell me about the fucking baker that lives on the corner. Tell me about some fucking guys. I want to know about the little fucking guys over there. I don't give a shit about your big overarching kingdom story. Tell me about that random villager. Tell me
Yeah.
about her. What's her story?
I think you see that
Because,
like a lot of like world building games, like Street Magic, Quiet Year, like they
mhm.
focus a lot on people because of that. Where it's like you kind of need some characters, right? And I think
Oh
that is
yeah,
a good point.
oh yeah, and Street Magic we think works great for it because it not only again encouraging the world as a character in and of itself is fantastic, but the way it encourages that, well, naturally, here's a guy who fits that slot, so now we can talk more about this guy.
Yeah,
And you gain a lot from that. Having those little things, having grounding elements like that tie a place together really works. And not to, lean too hard into praise and everything, but that's also something we think works about Sapphic World is
well,
that
thank you.
even when you've written like your large overarching story and stuff, a lot of it can still be tied down to characters that it takes place around that still feel listen, God feels like the smallest character. And that's
Yeah,
incredible. You've written God as a very small character.
she's just a lady. She's a
She's
girl.
just she is God. She's just some woman. She lives in a cabin.
Lives in a house. She just has a
Sh-
house.
Yeah, she lives in a house. It's, and that's fascinating and fantastic. That's the sort of thing we love.
Yeah.
And
Sorry,
yeah, oh, no worries. But
I got
that's where
distracted.
we
I have this hair tie that has like you forget like loops. Do you use hair ties?
yeah, we've actually you say that we've been playing with one on our desk this entire time.
Yeah, this one has like
It's
loops of hair in it, and I'm trying
ooh.
like tying like binding it, and it's not. It doesn't affect the hair tie's functionality at all. It's just annoying to me, and I'm trying to like
Oh, no, we get it. It's
pick them
it's
off.
we can't use those like looped ones personally because our hair gets stuck in it too easily. So we just use like standard like little like cord ones to
Yeah,
avoid that problem because otherwise we can't fucking do that.
gets all fucked up.
It gets all fucked up and it's terrible.
Um, but yeah, I guess so you'd mentioned that you wanted to ask me questions. I don't know if you have those.
I've got a couple actually.
Hit
Yeah,
me.
surprise. Yeah, again, we had planned to kind of hit you with this as an ambush, but again, we talked about it later because that we had a couple different questions that we wanted to hear about and stuff. And
Sure.
I guess we'll start with the most obvious one thrown back in your face. Let's talk more about your journey, I suppose. Of
Yeah.
I guess
So
what Oh, yeah, go ahead.
okay,
Go
no,
ahead.
ask the question, and then I'll.
We were going to say again, talk about your journey and I guess in some cases what path led you to the Sapphics world as it is.
Yeah. So I started playing what do you call it? Um uh, like when I was a kid. Okay, I feel like there's like multiple levels to this. When I was a
Mhm.
kid, I had a very like I had a a like keen interest in playing pretend, I guess. Like that was
Absolutely.
a thing that I really enjoyed, but I was too shy to be like, hey, please play pretend with me. So I would like,
Oh, we know
yeah,
the feeling all too well. All too well.
yeah. So I had like Lego minifigures, and I would play with
Hmm.
them, and like
Hmm.
make stories, and also I had my plushes, and like
Hmm.
what's really funny is even then I think I had the wherewithal to be like, these are separate settings. Like the Legos have their own setting, and the
Yeah.
plushes have their own, and they
They
don't
have their own
overlap.
settings. They are not the same world. They do not connect.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
these are not the
Good.
same. But and then like as I got older, like I started moving on to like online role play and
Hmm.
uh, stuff like that. And then I think around 10th grade, I I'm that there was a D&D thing at my local library, and I was like, okay, I'll try this out, and I played some of it, and the GM was horrible, but
Ooh,
I you
nice.
know I grew a passion for it and started writing my own stuff and playing in other folks'
Mhm.
stuff, and uh, eventually, like, I got online and was playing Interstitial, Riley Hopkins Interstitial, the like Kingdom Hearts inspired game with a lot of
Yeah.
friends with Marcy and Melody and those folks, and then
Hell yes.
I just started like getting really into TTRPGs. You know, Red Wanderhome, which had like a read and played a lot of Wanderhome, which had like a huge effect on me, um,
Hmm.
and was like looking at PBTA stuff and was like, hey, what if this was what if this had gay sex in it? And I started writing like a really simple treatment. Like by that point, I had already done Third Empire and Rank and Vile,
Mhm.
and I think a part of Warehouse Bitches was done. Um,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna write a bunch of like mini playbooks, like
Mhm.
uh, a, a Twink playbook and like whatever. And then eventually I was like, okay, this needs to be more like I need I need a foundational mythology for this. I need like a setting. I need something more
Yeah.
because this is just a little silly right now. Um,
Right.
and then I just wound up making like it just kind of escalated. It just escalated from there. Um, and now I have just a lot of people I hang out and play with, and it's good.
Hell yeah. No, that absolutely kicks ass, honestly.
Yeah,
It's really good. And Interstitial is a game we really got to play at some point because
it's
we have
so much
not
fun.
played it, but
There's
it
the second
seems
edition's
so
coming.
fun. Yeah, we did. Oh, we didn't get have the chance to back it on Kickstarter, but oof, we're excited to play it when it comes out.
Thank you, Eden. Actually, I should say something about there will at some point be something that is well. Okay, first of all, there's going to be Autopsy Feast, which is like kind of a Third Empire sequel. Uh, Eventually, there might be something else that's like more of a direct sequel and like
Ooh.
reimagining of that might not even be made by me. Smiles.
Ooh.
So,
Damn, all right.
but I will be involved in it. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Um,
Fuck yes.
yeah.
I think Third Empire is like the one game of yours we haven't actually read. We'll
It's
get there.
mid. It like I think I did a good job running it, but it's kind of a mess. I would also not
Honestly,
call it that today because of connections to certain things that I did not realize when I wrote it. Smiles.
you know
Um,
what? Fair enough. But so it goes.
yeah,
Learning and all that.
we
Yeah,
all learn.
fair. But also, I think it's very important to be able to look at your previous works as a creator in any sense, whether it be art, games, any sort, and go, yeah, I did a mid as hell job on that one, honestly.
Yeah, but I also think it's
It's
important to
important.
love the person who made that stuff, right? Like,
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. It's vital to be able to look back and say, yeah, that was mid, but, you can still look at what you've made at the time and go, yeah, I fucking made that.
yeah,
And
because
that's
the
great.
the people like you did when you say like this sucked and the like this sucked and the person who made it sucked. Like I was bad at art when I made this. What you're doing is you're not just striking yourself. You're striking the people who cared about you and supported you when you did that and liked that thing. Um,
Yeah.
because you're not you're not You're being like, you were stupid for liking this thing because I made it and it was bad.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's
Yeah.
fair to people.
Yeah, no, it's very, that's a very important attitude to have for a lot of things is that, and it's definitely a struggle to get into that sort of mindset and being able to learn to do that because fuck knows we struggled enough with learning to love and accept that version who made that stuff.
Hmm.
But it's important to be able to look at your previous work and go, yeah, that was mid as hell. And that's beautiful in its own way that it
Yeah.
exists at all.
Like,
Because making stuff is hard as fuck.
damn, I made this when
Yeah,
I didn't know
I
as much as I
fucking
know
made
now.
this. Yeah, small tangent there. We are by trade technically. We have a diploma in game programming and design.
Hmm.
Um, for games and stuff. At one point, we made a really shitty demo for a zombie simulator. It was a school project, whatever sort of thing.
Hmm.
And it was just a bunch of AI simulations going around of just dumping a bunch of guys into a box, into a shoebox, and just kind of dumping them around and seeing what happens. And it was riddled with bugs. It was terrible. When I transferred it over to the teacher's computer to see, it managed to create a series of bugs I had never seen before. Where one of the guys just turned to look and backhanded a zombie so fast across the room it got stuck permanently in the wall, building speed forever.
That's awesome.
Because and yeah, we didn't pass that project, by the way.
Right.
But the thing is, it was a terrible project. It's also, we think, one of the funniest things we've ever worked on.
Yeah.
It was goddamn incredible. And it's important, again, to be able to look back at those things and go, here's where I succeeded. Yeah, this overall may have been terrible, but this ruled in its own way.
Yeah. I had a Sapphic World playtest last night where six next session I six world moves are going to be triggered at some point.
Oof.
Um
Oof.
and I'm going to be reworking the game so that doesn't happen again.
Yeah,
Um
holy shit.
because there's just
Six?
it's a very specific series of interactions, but also it's so funny. Like the idea of just like, okay, now you just have all of these like really complicated moves happening all at once is really good. I like it. For those
Yeah,
who don't know,
it's
world moves are
incredible.
like world-altering events in Sapphic
Mhm.
World, and six of
Yeah.
them are going to happen next session.
They're things that leave a burned mark upon existence as a whole when they
Yeah,
are learned, sort of thing. Like
it's
this is earth-shattering stuff. So six firing at once is incredible.
yeah, or at least in the same session, because like some of them are from
Mhm.
dreams, so the dreams will have to go through. But like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
and like I think it's pretty funny. I'm like allowing it to go through just because I think
Mhm.
it's a really fun thing to have happen.
Mhm.
But it's also a thing that I want to avoid in the future.
Yeah, totally
And
fair.
sometimes that's failure is a very important teacher and a very funny one, as Stinky Phoenix
Yeah,
says. Absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah, Phoenix is correct on that one. It's great. All right. Now speaking of that and failure sort of thing, we had another question here, and whether it's in a game you've written or something else, if you had to point at a single like definitive mechanic you think that you'd say has either had an effect or is just your favorite fucking mechanic you've played in a game or something,
Hmm.
what do you think would that would be?
Oh, there's got to be something. I think it's probably. I think it's the unlockable NPCs in Yuzeba's bed and breakfast. Honestly,
Yeah.
like because I think that uh, I had already been doing stuff that was in the same vein when that
Hmm.
happened, when that was the thing. But like, I think that really opened up a lot of like understanding for me about like how wild and wacky you could get with this stuff.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like, it's a mechanic that's not just about like a stationary game system, but a game system that like actually changes and a like setting that
Hmm.
reacts to the actions of players. It's so good.
Hmm.
I highly recommend people grab Zabe's Bed and Breakfast. Actually, I
Yeah.
think like it's a very good, even if you don't play it, it's a very good game
It's
study.
It's a fascinating read, even if you don't actually play it. It's fantastic just to read.
Yeah. Um,
It's wonderful. Yeah,
and yeah, I think
Gazebas is
that's
a
it for me.
wonderful game.
Like
That's fair,
that's
honestly.
the that mechanic
Fair.
has really rewired the way that I think about a lot of stuff. Uh,
A- Absolutely fair, honestly. We get that. We get that entirely.
yeah,
Gazebas is so fucking good. We just can't.
it's pretty awesome.
It's pretty fucking awesome. Alright,
Yeah,
and yeah, we didn't really have much more in the way of yeah, it's $20 for a 500-page kick-ass book. Like,
it's a good
it's
trade-off.
good.
I need to stop trying to get this hair out of. Moving this across my room. 1 second. This is becoming a problem. I'm getting so
No
distracted
worries.
by it. Okay.
No, good. All right.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Um,
Welcome back.
are there
And
any games? Oh, sorry.
oh no, you go ahead.
Are there any games that are like coming up? Any games that like have not been released yet that you're excited about?
So there's a couple we've backed on Kickstarter and various other means that we're very excited for because they're very unique and different approaches. Um, I don't. I think I backed this one. One of them is Stew Pot,
Oh yeah.
which is the idea of playing a group of adventurers who have retired and are running an inn is an incredible thing, and it's the sort of story that can be told. Kind of talking about ideas that what you've learned from the adventure sort of thing, and kind of coming to the end of that road is a fascinating book to play,
Yeah.
honestly. And that one we're very excited for as well. We actually got our hands on it recently, a copy of the book. We sent it over to you already. Exiles,
Ah yes.
which is a fascinating little book about being a group of cursed teenagers crawling your way out of hell, literal hell.
Awesome.
It's so fucking good. We are going to have to get a crew of people to play that with us at some point. It's very, very good.
Oh, I'm looking into Steepot. This is fascinating. The thing about like
Yeah,
the evil hat, but like it's you can't get it right now. But like
yeah.
you could before.
You
Huh.
could before and you can't, and it's baffling.
That's
It,
wild.
it's wild, and we're excited to eventually get our hands on it.
Okay, they're crowdfunding. They started crowdfunding today.
Oh shit!
On
Today.
BackerKit, yeah. Hang
Oh
on.
shit! We didn't get that email. We were
Give
supposed to.
Steepot a look. Hang on, I'm gonna send
Shit.
that your way too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
Steepot's
Thank
on
you.
BackerKit. It's already
Oh shit.
backed. It's at 30,000,
Oh, of course it was
33,000.
backed up immediately. Yeah, but Stewpot looks so cool.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I
Uh,
played Steepot back in the day with Marcy Melody and I think Mars.
oh hell,
Yeah, that was awesome.
kick ass. Kick
Cool game, good
ass.
game.
Yeah, no, it looks really cool. Yeah, we'll throw money at that later
Yeah.
if we've got that. Um, Otherwise, not quite a full game, but an infinity of ships
Oh.
is a really cool little supplement that went up on Kickstarter or BackerKit, one of those two. I never remember these things.
Yes.
That
Jess,
is
my friend Jess did some stuff on that, I believe, or is going
yeah,
to.
yeah, and that one is just an incredibly cool little thing for making ships and all sorts of all sorts of different little things and elements there. Uh, Speaking of Jess, actually, I feel we'd be remiss to not talk about Planet Fist.
Plant Fest is awesome.
Planet Fist kicks so much fucking ass. It is one of the most fun sessions we've ever had. Was that incredibly silly playtest? It was so much fun.
By Planet
Uh,
Fest.
Play
Smiles.
Planet Fist. Buy Planet Fist. It's a treat for yourself. Trust us. Buy it. If you haven't bought it, buy it.
Or if you can't afford it, it literally has 14 community copies, so grab
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Go grab yourself a copy. Trust us, it's worth it.
It's a very good like tactical
Mhm.
PBTI. It's good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good. It's good. Outside of that, it's it's hard to say honestly because the thing is, unlike again, a lot of time, unlike other games and stuff where oh, Warren Guard. That's what we were fucking forgetting. It was Warren Guard.
Oh
We're
yeah,
very
yeah.
excited for Warren Guard.
We had Nat on. well, a couple
Yeah,
episodes ago.
yeah, and listening to Nat talk about it led us to immediately go give Nat money for the game. So hey, that's how it goes. It works.
It looks awesome. I love to ride
It
a
looks
dragon.
so awesome. Love to ride dragons. It's so cool. Uh, Other than that, again, it's a lot of tabletop RPG stuff. We're very bad at keeping like a finger on the pulse of everything and keeping aware of newer developments and as things are going on. We just mostly, if we see something that looks cool, go, "Hey, I want that." Just kind of on the spot, really. So we'll
Yeah.
get better at that eventually. How about you?
Oh God.
Anything you're looking forward to here?
Uh,
Yeah,
it
surprise! You're getting the
it
questions
should
too.
be
This
my
is a two-way.
responsibility to think about these things, but
Yeah, two-way interview this time. Surprise.
I'm excited for Interstitial 2E.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited for Seven Part Pact, which I've been playing, but
Oh
will be a thing at some
yes.
point. Uh,
Very excited for that.
is what was I thinking of? I really want to play Gubot Banwa. Gubot Banwa seems cool, and I want to give it a
What
shot.
is Gubot Banwa?
It's like Southeast Asian fantasy, like 4E
Ooh.
inspired tactical combat.
Ooh, okay. That does sound interesting, actually. Ooh,
Yeah, seems pretty freaking cool.
that seems pretty freaking epic, not gonna lie.
Yeah. I'm hoping that I can get into a game of it sometime soon because it seems sick as hell.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Uh, yeah. Let's hit. You want to hit the news?
Let's hit the news. We got a lot to go over, so yeah,
We
let's
do.
hit the
Let's
news.
get the news bird in. Cordis, the news bird, is here, flying
Uh
in from a beautiful realm, just a
uh,
realm, like a whole
uh
world of beauty and power and might and everything.
and news.
And news. So, God, we really do have a lot of these. Uh, Dimension 20 is first. So
Let's talk about Dimension 20.
let's talk about let's talk about my dimension. Uh, no. Where's window capture? Here we go. So, Dimension 20, is going to have a actually when is it? So I can make sure I have the date
Uh
right.
January 24th,
God,
2025.
that's so long from now.
That is so long from now, honestly.
Yeah, they're gonna have a live show, uh, in January, and some really interesting stuff happened around this because this is a normal like press release, and
Uh,
then it was discovered by some folks on Twitter that
mhm,
there was dynamic pricing because it was through Ticketmaster because of like the way that Madison Square Garden works and their like
mhm,
ticket uh, you know their ticket situation. Tickets were from $700 to $2,500,
mhm.
which is pretty wild.
Which is ludicrous. Listen, for off the gate here, off the from the hip, fuck Ticketmaster.
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck
Doesn't need to be
Ticketmaster.
said. Now again, we haven't really watched much Dimension 20 or anything of the sort. We'll catch up to it at some point. We've been working our way through dropout shows. Dimension 20, Brendan Lee Milligan seems great. Seems a
Yeah, good
grand old time.
stuff.
$700 for a ticket is laughable in any economy, in any
Yeah.
world.
Apparently, most of them were in the range of like 100-ish, which
Mhm.
is like to be
Yeah,
expected for a Madison Square Garden show.
yeah, that makes
Um,
perfect sense. And yeah, by the way, regardless of who you are, getting to play Madison Square Garden
it's insane.
is
It's
insanity,
wild.
especially for like a fucking actual play. It's
Yeah,
insanity.
pretty wild.
Pretty wild, but incredibly cool.
Yeah, like good for them on like genuinely good for
Yeah,
them. Get
genuinely
that paycheck.
great for them. Good for them.
Um,
Glad they have the ability to get that done. Fuck Ticketmaster though.
yeah, fuck Ticketmaster. So, a lot was revealed through people like talking about this online because like you, but both like Rascal, Linecote. I think it was specifically Rowan Zioli reported on this for Rascal. Um,
Mhm.
like you know, we're talking about like uh a ton of people just being like, "Hey, isn't the Unsleeping City supposed to be anti-capitalist?" Which are arguable. Listen, I have my opinions on Dimension 20. We can talk about it, but
Fair.
like, I do definitely agree with that take, and like, uh, people were understandably frustrated because it's like, oh my god, we're getting charged for this, like we're being charged for like a Taylor Swift concert, um,
Yeah.
and
Which, by the way, if you pay $700 for a ticket to a Taylor Swift concert, frankly speaking, to any kind of performance like that, personally speaking, we think you're insane.
yeah, you got suckered, buddy.
You've got suckered regardless of who's standing on that stage.
Yeah. So, uh, Dimension 20 released a statement on the ticket sale situation. Um,
Mhm.
they noted that dynamic pricing and platinum tickets were not explained to them, not presented as something they had the ability to opt out of once they had a better understanding of the situation as a group. They communicated to Live Nation that they didn't want to have dynamic pricing tickets, and average cost was $119, which is like pretty reasonable, I'd say. Um,
That's much more reasonable for a show again, especially at a venue like Madison Square Garden.
yeah, it's a really, that's an expensive venue, um,
Yeah.
and so they're going to be stopping the dynamic pricing for that show and all future shows. Um, introducing some like lottery tickets, so like 35 each. Like you have a chance to get two 35 each tickets. Um,
Mhm.
and then
Eh,
they'll be recording
The
it
nice
and putting it
yeah.
up on Dropout.
The nice thing about the Dimensioneer tickets as well is that, as they emphasize here, scattering the seats throughout the entire venue, including the best seats in the house, instead of just being where a lot of places would do it, is like you can get these tickets, but you're going in the nosebleeds and you
Yeah,
aren't seeing shit. And so, them emphasizing that they're spread throughout the entire place does make it a much more palatable system.
yeah. I really I have a lot of respect for that.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
now the thing that's like wild about this, the thing like this is a huge story in like a way that is, I think, goes beyond TTRPGs in a lot of ways that are like
Oh,
surprising.
absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
I think what's interesting is like there's not an apparatus for TTRPG journalism at the moment, besides like or like Rascal's trying to like re-establish it from the the wreckage uh of like Geo and places like that. Um,
Yeah.
like there's not an apparatus for this to become a national story, but the thing that this makes clear is that the whole time performers like Taylor Swift have had the option to get rid of platinum and have been saying that it's out of their hands, and now that there's a group that has
Yeah.
the wherewithal to be honest about this sort of stuff, it's pretty wild. Like,
It's wild, and it makes the whole thing transparent, which is, again, buck wild. And if it sinks Ticketmaster, we're all the better for it. Just as a society, we think it's better if
yeah,
Ticketmaster goes under.
I really hope that this creates some broader societal scrutiny for Ticketmaster, because like,
Mhm,
and honestly, the performers who are saying like, actually we
mhm,
don't have any choice, it's like, no, you actually do, and you're just taking whatever
mhm.
money Ticketmaster is
Yeah.
giving you for like the extra thousand that they're getting from these tickets.
Oh, absolutely. Though, again, another element on all that is, with a lot of those performers as well, you have to think about the element of who knows if any of them even fucking see it, and if it's just a PR statement made by their agent, it's impossible to
Yeah,
say. Having this crew at least say it, it's them on the other side at the very least.
yeah, or it's like
Right.
like it's Samurai,
Yeah.
sure, something like
Yeah,
that. Um,
exactly. It's Sam Reich on the other side. Because, yeah, again, odds are fucking good with anything this story is reaching. No one's ever going to be talking to Taylor Swift directly about it except for probably her agent, right?
yeah,
Like,
it's
yeah, so.
it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. This is
Mhm,
coming from TTRPGs.
mhm.
And
Absolutely.
Bren's a cool guy.
Mhm,
Like I have a lot of respect for like what Brennan does.
mhm.
Even though I don't like D&D 5e, like Brennan
Yeah.
has been on Party of One a couple times playing things that are not D&D 5e, and
Yeah.
did some games on Dimension 20 that aren't 5e. So like
Yeah.
I really I don't know. I hope that this is I hope that this is a rising tide for all boats,
Yeah.
but um
We hope so.
you know.
We agree. And regardless of Brennan Lee Mulligan's statements on, again, 5e and everything, talking about stuff like that, again, we respect the dude and the work he's put in, even if he's wrong. Even if he's, I think, objectively
I think
wrong.
he's right about a lot of. I'd say he's right about 99.9% of things, and I think D&D is probably the
Yeah.
the the
Listen, no one
thing
can be
outside of that.
perfect. No one can be perfect, right? And if his cross to bear is that he's a real fan of D&D 5th edition, well, again, no one can be perfect, right?
Yeah, I like I've like I hmm. I'm cautious about Dropout as a whole because it's like is it creating like a weird dynamic between like I think there's some parasociality that's like kind of um okay, so like there's a thing that Dropout does that I think has two effects, which is
Mhm.
they put their personalities like front and center and say like these are people that you can like interact with on some level and like let your opinion be known about the things that they're doing. Um
Yeah.
and like the CEO is on like two of their biggest shows as like the host. Like that's pretty
Yeah.
wild. um
Yeah.
and on the one hand I think that's great because I think it means that like they are accountable and
Mhm.
like they are listening to their audience, but on the other
Yeah.
hand I think it means that like that there is some parasociality there's some like
Mhm.
you maybe shouldn't be this close to the wild
Yeah,
herd, the wild horde.
there's a level of transparency that is honestly refreshing and something you would never fucking see anywhere else sort of thing with that level of transparency and involvement, but also that would scare the shit out of us.
Yeah. Like there are
It's
reasons why people aren't this transparent, and they might not be
yeah.
like they might be good reasons for business, but not necessarily good reasons morally. Um,
Mhm.
but I suppose I have a lot of respect for them in this way too. But
Oh yeah,
you know,
absolutely. It's respectable, but also I don't fucking know how they do it. It's terrifying enough being a Twitch streamer.
I guess
Never
that
mind having a network like that.
yeah.
Mhm.
My hope is that like they don't let themselves believe or like I hope that they don't let their audience believe that they have like too much power because I think that can get
Yeah.
there's a dark side to that too. Like I think
Mhm.
like God forbid somebody I don't know like what if like a like major Dropout star like it was real like their partner is into like a fetish that like the Dropout fandom decides they don't like, and
Yeah.
then that accountability it becomes a darker thing. And so I guess like I hope that they're setting good boundaries with this stuff because I think
Yeah.
it can become pretty
Yeah.
gnarly.
Yeah, that's the real hope in these things, that they're good on them being transparent if they're comfortable doing that, but also it's terrifying putting that much trust in strangers online sometimes.
Yeah,
And especially a faceless mass like that is that's that's a hell of a thing you're putting in front of yourself, or putting
yeah,
yourself in front of, really.
it's tough.
Yeah. It's a tough one. It's a tough one, and yeah, we really do hope all the best for them and that it does not come crashing down around them.
I salute Sam Reich and I salute Dropout and
Yeah.
I salute Brendan Lee Mulligan.
Absolutely. And as long as we keep getting episodes of Game Changer, hey,
Hmm.
what's a little parasociality?
And fuck Ticketmaster. Like
And
holy shit,
fuck Ticketmaster.
get them out of here.
And
Um,
also, I hope that they end the live event by, we can't say this bit. We can't finish this joke on stream. That makes us too accountable and you too accountable. Let's go to the next bit of news,
here
shall we?
here I'll do it. I hope that they fire off uh I hope they fire off a rifle into a room on the side of the of Madison Square Garden. No one will
Mhm.
be in there, but if by chance an executive of the goal will be, it'll be very clear. There'll be a sign that says "Do not enter." But if by chance uh a an executive of Ticketmaster happens to get lost and walks into that room, you know,
Mhm.
they're not liable for what happens because they were very clear with the sign.
Yeah. Did you know that it's technically illegal to say I hope they kill the CEO of Ticketmaster on stream?
I
It's
didn't know
fascinating
that.
stuff.
Yeah, like
uh
it's not against the rules to say I hope that they do a stunt. And God, it sure would be bad
mhm.
if if someone accidentally walked into the room where they were doing that stunt.
Yeah.
And it would be
It's
especially bad if that person were the CEO of
yeah.
Ticketmaster.
Yeah, it's not a crime to say that. However, you got to be careful saying things online like I hope there is an event where they managed to shoot both the CEOs of Ticketmaster and Wizards of the Coast in one bullet. That's not allowed to be
You
said
can't say
usually. You
that.
got
You
to be
can't say
careful.
that.
Stay safe out there, all
To be
right?
clear, you
You
can't.
cannot say
Hang
that.
on, let me I actually have something for this. Let me grab it. Um
Oh,
where
good.
here we go. It where did my other one go? I feel like I used to have more. Oh, here we go. This is the thing. Okay. The Dovecote. Um Here we are. Uh oh, here we go. There we are. In my opinion.
In my opinion. There
In
we
my
go. We're
opinion.
all right. We've covered our bases on this one. Good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Ticketmaster did this allegedly. There we go.
Allegedly, in my opinion, someone should burn down Wizards of the Coast and Ticketmaster head offices. Just in my opinion.
In your opinion, in
Allegedly.
Minecraft, in GTA,
In Minecraft.
in
I'm just saying, next time Wizards of the Coast and Ticketmaster log on to the Minecraft server, they better be fucking ready.
yeah, like
They better
I
watch themselves. All right.
I don't know where they're based. I don't know specific locations of any specific institution. I just randomly set buildings on fire in Minecraft.
In
Um
Minecraft.
Anyways, I should probably stop this
Anyways,
a bit before we get
on
in
to the
trouble.
next bit of news, baby.
Yeah.
On to
Um
the next one.
this is a shorter one.
Yeah. Before we get into an element where we might have actual legal trouble.
um Sam Lee, a Goblin Mixtape, who does really good at teacher review TikToks, um,
Mhm.
is collecting teacher RPG donations for inmates at their local jail. And I thought this was a really good thing to make folks aware of. I also thought the specifics of it were really interesting. No hardcover books, obviously, like sharp edges. Art with nudity is okay, but pornographic material isn't allowed. Nothing that can be misinterpreted as teaching martial arts or how to create weapons, which is really, I'm like really curious how that how that's adjudicated. Um,
That's really interesting. And the hope is that they would, be reasonable, but unfortunately, the US prison industrial complex is perhaps not the most forgiving.
yeah, uh,
But, you know.
they have access to playing cards and often make their own dice, but you can't donate cards and you can't do anything uh,
Mhm.
with tarot or custom cards, which is interesting.
That
Um,
is a very interesting one. However, it is nice to know that regardless of how they're treated in the system, prisoners are protected from Magic the Gathering.
yeah, true. Um,
Yeah.
and then you can donate PDFs. I will send you all this info because I think it's both very interesting just from like a I
Mhm.
would love to. My understanding is I think Rascal's gonna do some reporting on like prison TTRPG stuff, which is super
Yeah,
fascinating.
that
Um,
is incredibly cool, honestly.
yeah, and also I think folks should send stuff over there because
Yeah,
it's good.
absolutely. It's good. It's a very cool initiative for them to take on this, and we fully encourage this.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
100% agree. Do you
I
want to
mean, again,
take? Oh, sorry.
oh, we were gonna say we don't talk about this often, but we are kind of staunch prison abolitionists.
Oh, me too.
Is one of our stances. So we don't talk about those often. So this is a step in the right direction, but it we think it's a very cool step in the right direction. Oh, hi,
So
Lilith.
hello. There's also an older Vice article about it if you want to. It's in the
Ooh,
thread if you want to look at that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, we absolutely want to look at that.
really interesting. Um,
It's really good stuff.
so do you want to take a 5 minute break before we do the
Uh,
last story?
yeah, sure. Actually, we'll take 5 minutes real quick.
Cool. Yeah, we'll take 5. We'll be back at 11 minutes. So see you in a bit.
We'll see you in a bit.
Wait, hang on. I have to do the. Hello, everybody. We are back with more TeacherPG news discussion.
Oh
So,
boy.
uh, actually, that's probably not. Hang on, we're gonna start from a different point. Okay, so this Twitter account, you're gonna have to follow me on this because we're not gonna start we're starting, we're going backwards a little bit here. So, this
We're
Twitter
going on a
account,
journey here.
uh,
Join us on this trip.
made a tweet. British adventurer Lara Croft will transition from being a raider of tombs to a seeker of truth as Evil Hat Productions and Crystal Dynamics seek to redefine the Tomb Raider series in order to escape its colonial past. Um, I don't even think I need to look at. I'll look at some replies. Like it's this sort of shit, right? It's like, we're switching everything. Wait. And then, uh, this tweet received a lot of attention because Gamergate 2 pissy little crying crybaby, Grums, creator of $300,000 in the drain, fake fail game Ember, um, decided to quote tweet and be like, "Man, they're fucking it's progressive." Um,
And how fucking dare they? Our
simult
favorite,
yeah.
honestly, response, just scrolling through these blue check marks real quick. It's a very simple one. It's just quote, colonial past, unquote. Oh, the cringe. Yeah, the cringe of acknowledging history. Ooh,
Oh,
ooh.
there's Ian Miles Chong, whose house is full of ants. And who lives in Malaysia but cares so deeply about American economy. This is my so like in the comments or in the replies, you have all
Mhm.
this like right wing stuff. You go in the quote tweets, and it's like some right wing stuff, actually a pretty good amount of right wing stuff, but then also I think some pretty good points about like, hey, what are we doing with this decolonial setting that talks about truth and being
Hey,
a truth
yeah,
seeker? Whose
that's
truth?
a
Where did this truth
whoo.
come from? Truth bound by temporality? This is really sticky. I totally agree. I think Samuel
That's
Clarice movie had a really good point
yeah,
here.
yeah,
Um,
no, really good point because that's a hell of a space you're walking there
yeah,
with that tweet. That's a hell of a fucking line.
and then I did some exploration on this topic because I was really curious, like where where does this language come from? So I clicked the link. It's this TRC, Tomb Raider Chronicles. This is a fan site. Um, that's basically copying some information from a press release. They don't have a link to the press release. They don't say where any of this is from. So I look further. I find this Evil Hat press release. This has the Truth Seeker stuff in it. Uh, Obviously, Shadows of Truth. I mean, that makes it pretty clear. But Keepers of Truth, Truth Seekers, like, this is where all the stuff is from. This is
Hmm.
from February. This is from April. They waited 2 months to put this out, and then there was a big reaction on Twitter about this. Uh,
Hmm.
I I don't like.
So
This is not a
uh,
story about it. This is not anything new. This is not
this is
news.
nothing new. We also really want to take a quick second here, just while we're talking about this Tomb Raider Chronicles fan site, we are noticing just looking at the site here one of their follow-up articles 2 days later that's really important is about their Tomb Raider 1 to 3 remaster update, including a leopard skin outfit. This is the level of
Yo,
oh baby.
that's
Yeah, wait, hang on.
awesome.
That's so cool, actually.
I love leopard skin. Okay,
I love
that is
leopard
actually a
skin.
good outfit. Sorry.
No, you're right. It is a good outfit. We clicked on it. We started this bit before we clicked on it, but honestly, it is a good outfit. Anyways,
Yeah.
but that's the level we're working at here.
To me, what this is about, like the reason why this is newsworthy to me, the reason why this is
Mhm.
Dovecote worthy, is because I think that this shows a thing that I'm really hoping doesn't happen. This is
Mhm.
I want to talk about something that I'm starting to worry about because of this situation, which is that this is a yeah, no, this looks like a great, like, besides the thing about truth as a word being kind of sticky, this game looks
Yeah.
great. I'm very excited to try this out. It has a bunch of really great people in it. April Kit
Mhm.
Walsh, Ray, like, we're talking about like really smart people who I think can make this a good game. Um,
Mhm.
my point about this has been more like I am very worried about the potential. We already have some like pretty bad actors in TTRPGs. I really hope that TTRPGs do not get wrapped up in Gamergate 2. Basically, the quote unquote
Honestly,
Gamergate 2.
yeah. The biggest fear is that this does not is not that this is, they make a bad game coached in bad language sort of thing. It's the biggest fear is this being a foot in the door.
Yeah,
And that's the scariest part as an idea, is that leaving the door open for more bad faith actors and having a whole problem.
yeah, because I think like very recently, I think a lot of games have had like we are in a very, I think, strong moment for like uh
Mhm.
it's a like blending pot of different TTRPG cultures. Like I'm seeing a lot of like
Mhm.
OSR people talking to indie people and like you know, very like a lot of like diversity both in terms of like thought and design philosophy and just like race and gender and sexuality. Like
Yeah.
I I really hope this doesn't encourage people to retreat. And I'm hoping that this does not become
Mhm.
uh a like potential problem. I don't think it will. Like I think that these people are going to take their pot shots as actual factual saying like the risk of
Yeah.
doing licensed games is always that the licensed fan base is toxic.
Yeah.
But I do it is like something that I've been thinking about because like
Mhm.
it's a little scary.
It is scary, and I think as well for us, another element of it that's scary, especially with, as you've mentioned, this is a big point in, we're kind of at a big moment for tabletop RPGs right now with that sort of, melting pot of ideas coming together and more, that, and with a lot of things, especially harkening back to the Dimension 20 story and everything, tabletop RPGs might be at their biggest point they've ever been before, sort of thing. And the fear in our eyes is that not only does that leave the faith open for bad actors and coming in, that is it leading to a renewed effort in that same way of the old classic Jack Chick tracks and like the
Mhm.
Dungeons and Dragons scare of like the 70s and 80s, that coached in modern language and terms is going to lead to a sanitization attempt.
There's wokeism. They're being woke in
There's
my
wokeism and,
TTRPGs.
yeah, and coaching that in language of the modern day and everything to try and sanitize the efforts of, indie queer creators and shit. And that's the biggest fear, I think.
Yeah, because like I think a really
Mhm.
big element of TTRPGs that is like notable is there is a like TTRPGs I think are inherently or not inherently, but I think they have the potential to be very freeing and very like
Oh,
very liberatory
absolutely.
and progressive in the sense that it's like you're not limited to the options and outcomes that are like predefined to you uh by a game system or a game like game writing. You
Mhm.
might be predefined by the book that you're reading or the DM you have, but like if we're all at the table and playing a game that is open to us starting a revolution and overthrowing the king, then we can do that. And that is
Yeah.
dangerous to uh, to people who don't believe in
Yeah.
that sort of thing,
Yeah.
aka fascists and conservatives.
Absolutely. And, and that's the sort of thing that, more eyes pulled onto it, especially in a kind of a Gamergate situation. If Gamergate 2 is occurring and pulling around this sort of thing, is that sort of fear of them going, well, see, look, they're right. Look, we were right all along. Look at them defending this, you know, and that sort of bullshit coming in is honestly, again, it's just a rough thing to think about coming down, is that it's another path that is the Tomb Raider game going to lead to an abject attempt to stomp out queer creators and
No,
sanitize the works again? No.
probably not.
But if you look just past it, you can see the path of the dominoes
Yeah, I
that
hope.
lays behind.
I
And
hope.
that's the
Yeah,
problem.
I hope the people reacting this way does not does not lead to problems. I don't
We
think it will.
really hope. We don't
But
think it will, but again, you can still see the shadow of the dominoes falling
I
behind it, and
I hope that
that's the
folks are
fear.
vigilant, I guess, is my main thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, okay, I
And
think
to the
that's
listener at home, stay weird and be loud and be queer.
be
That's all
a
we gotta
freak
say.
about it, please. We need
Be
you
a
to.
freak about it as loudly as possible
Yeah, I agree.
in all cases,
Okay,
in all situations.
I think that's the news. Let's
Hmm.
talk. Oh, wait, hang on. I will look at that in a second. I've definitely seen a document of some chud put together. Yeah, that's true. We already kind of have that, I guess. We already
Yeah,
have our homegrown, our
yeah.
own homegrown bastards to some degree.
Oh, we absolutely do, and it's just again the with bigger profile things like a Tomb Raider game and everything coming on. Again, the fear is I suppose less about the dominoes and more about what's going to be the one to knock it over.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got these problems. It's what's going to be the one to start the fire.
Okay. Well, we are going to bring in Apocrypha, the final bird, the male bird. Um, and we're gonna read the
From
mail
the worlds and dimensions of mail.
from the realm of mail, from the realm of the mailed god. Uh,
Hmm.
so the first question from Sneaky Phoenix.
Ooh.
I'm on and off putting together a small TTRPG to share with my friends. Something I want to be able to fit on a page or three, be flexible enough to work with other systems. Do you have any insights from making Sapphic World that you think might help? Um, that's interesting. So you're trying to make a small game that will be flexible enough to work with other systems. So what you probably want is something like what Grief made, actually. Like, uh,
Yeah.
honestly, Grief
Our
might have
first,
better advice than I do.
our immediate words, and we say this with nothing but love in our heart for the work that you've put in. If you're looking to make something that's small and fit on a page and be flexible enough to work, do not look at Sapphic World
Yeah,
because you'll have 1,000+ pages to look at,
it will be
and
bad.
that you will miss the point. Um, um, our divining philosophy has usually been with a sign like that, it's definitely a lot harder to write something that concise. It's a hell of a lot of work to do,
Hmm.
honestly, more than you'd think. Um, we're the sort of creator who works off the cuff primarily, uh, and we don't recommend it for most of the things we do. But sometimes it's about trying to cut your idea down to its smallest form, to uh, at its core, the razor is the term we've had thrown around. For an example, if you had to sum up, this is one officially we heard in the industry when we went to BioWare. Um, Mass Effect, if you had to sum it all up in one sentence, what do you think that sentence would be? That would be your razor. In
Hmm.
the case of Mass Effect specifically, their razor was the leading guy from 24 and the crew of the Starship Enterprise go around the galaxy solving problems. That's it. That was the defining statement that pulled everything they did together, which is an insane thing to write a game about. But
Yeah, I mean, you could do that. It's an
you could
option.
do that. It's insane. But you know, we've got opinions on Mass Effect as a series, but we don't have time to get into that because if we do, we will be here for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Mass Effect makes us angry.
I think, and I'm thinking about it more. I feel like
Yeah.
the problem with saying I want to write a system that
Mhm.
is 3 to 4 pages or 1 to 3 pages that does not that works with all their systems is that needs to be an object. Like it can't be
Mhm.
like if you're writing here are the mechanics for combat magic and here are the mechanics for combat exploration and socializing on 1 page or 3 pages, and
Mhm.
you want that to work with all their systems. That's not going to work. That's not going to be
Yeah.
functional.
Uh.
However, if you
Yeah.
decide that you want to write uh, a dungeon that will work in all systems, that can, or many systems, that can be done. You want to write a
Mhm.
character, you want to write a place. Like I feel like it needs to be more honed in
Yeah.
if you're trying to do that.
Yeah. That's that's what we would say again, looking at that, is that you want to sharpen your idea down. Um, to go back to our own work here with the river, the defining idea that that pulled that whole thing together was not we wanted it wound up being system agnostic, but that is a thing you can delve into once you have your key focus. Our key focus on it was we want to invade we want to invade the realms of gods that we don't know, that you aren't supposed to see, but more than that, it was an exercise in how can we fuck up a character sheet? Just fuck that thing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so finding your core idea is your razor to compare every other element against will make it a much sharper idea. Um Another great example we like to pull for this one, it's one of our favorite examples to pull, is one of our favorite RPGs we have never played before but really want to. Do not kill a bird with a baseball. It is a tabletop RPG about playing a collection of uh I believe Randy the Big Show Johnson, baseball player.
Mhm.
Every character at the table is a variation of Randy Johnson from a different timeline. Uh and your goal is to make it through the day, accomplish an objective, and do not throw that fateful pitch where you kill a bird, where he threw a baseball and obliterated a bird on camera, which is an impressive clip to watch. Let me tell you,
It's really good. It's
it's
gone.
it's really good. That bird explodes. Uh, so having a core idea, whether it's something as refined as what you want to do, or as just a silly idea of what if you all played this man trying not to kill a bird with a baseball, is a much stronger starting point
Mhm.
than focusing in on I want to make it fit on a page or three and be flexible enough to work with those systems. Our best advice to you to make that happen is to throw that out the window. That's not your idea. That is that is a box, a rule set you want to work within, but that is not your idea.
Mhm.
So find your idea first. Then you can start building the box around it, but you need that idea first. That's our advice.
Yeah. I would definitely agree.
Mhm.
Like it sounds like what you want to make is you're trying to make something like exactly what the River Beyond Between is. Like you're trying to make something that is
Yeah.
a mechanism, a tool, a toy
Yeah.
that will work with another game.
Yeah. Phoenix, we'll tell you
Makes
this.
sense.
If yeah, that makes perfect sense. And again, we can't really get into it because this is not our podcast and we don't get to decide the time limit or anything. But Phoenix, let's talk later, you and I.
Hell yeah.
Let's talk about that. All right. We can offer our expertise of we wrote a thing once to maybe help you cut down that ideas a little bit and see about giving you a bit of direction. So yeah, if you want to talk about that later, Phoenix, hit us up. All right.
Hell yeah. So we have 10 questions from VIP uh question asker goblin skibbity boppum dada. We are not going to get through all of
Goblin's hitting
these.
us with 10
We have
questions.
30
All
minutes.
right.
We'll get through a couple.
Whew.
Um
All right. We could just rapid fire them. It's fine. You get 3-word answers. That's all you get.
we could. Okay.
Nah.
So,
All right.
question 1. What are some interesting game mechanics you think should have an entire game focused on them? Anything from simple conflict resolution stuff to incredibly complex role from a game that just captures their imagination. I want to see a combat. Or sorry, I want to see Matt play dancing. I want to say Matt play ballroom dancing.
Ooh, that is a good one. That is a good
Or like
one.
socialization, ballroom socialization and dancing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good one. Personally speaking, we're very biased about this. We could base a whole system on making we think.
Oh, sorry, what was that?
Oh, sorry. Our answer is specifically we'd like to see a system based on making a meal together.
Oh, hell
Whole
yeah.
system.
That's
Whole
awesome.
system about cooking a dinner together. That would kick ass. the social elements of making a dinner together, the connections between people, the importance of the dish, that all comes together. And that could be a really good system.
Yeah, I agree.
Our second place answer does have a system already, and that's 10 candles because it's a system about burning stuff.
Yeah, God, 10 candles seems awesome.
10 candles kicks ass. It is one of our favorite systems we've ever played. It kicks ass.
Yeah.
If you get the chance, this is to you, the viewer, everyone. If you get the chance to play 10 candles with a group of people in person, play 10 candles. It kicks ass. Trust us.
Yeah. It's a game where you record stuff and then burn out 10 candles in real life as you do your roleplay, and then listen to the audio again in the dark, and it seems awesome.
It's so kick ass. We did this. We had this whole bit about recording like personal journal logs before we did it, and then again, if you want to, anytime you have to do something that would sacrifice your character, and like, oh yeah, you can sacrifice your character to succeed or give someone else a bonus, but you just toss it into a fire. You toss your physical index card into the candles, and you burn it down. It's
awesome.
so fucking good. Anyways, yeah, that's our two answers. Is cooking a meal together could be its own fucking system. We'd love to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tabletop RPGs need more complex cooking rules. That's really our thing. That's our hill we'll die on.
I agree. Next question. Question 3. Do you think TTRPGs as a medium are equipped to explore unfun gameplay that was intended? Video games have been proven to facilitate unfun experiences that people still find worthwhile. So do you think the same could be applied to TTRPGs?
Have you ever heard of Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition?
Well, that's not intentional, to be clear.
I know. That's our shot. Listen, again, our motto here is fuck Wizards of the Coast. We'll take whatever shots we can.
Got him.
Anyways, I think it could be, honestly. In a more fantastical element, we'd actually what was it called? We both sat down and read this one system, and that's like an antithesis to a system.
Oh,
what was it called? What was it called?
That's a good one. That's a good one. Creature Herd. Stargazer Sasha's Use and Regret is very good, but I'm trying to think of the other one, made by the person Oleander Gardens, Against the Apocalypse. Yeah,
Against the Apocalypse. It is, frankly speaking, reading through it, it is fascinating, but it is a miserable system to play. Just looking at it, it's designed around the thought that if you try to play it, it's going to be nightmarish. It's going to suck to play.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of the most compelling systems we've ever read.
It's fascinating.
It's a fascinating system. Yeah, if we could throw a link to that or something, we need a link to that.
Yeah,
that's
I'll link that.
Fascinating.
You know what?
System.
Hang on, I'm sending that. I just realized I never sent this to Jay. I feel like Jay would enjoy this.
Yeah, send that one to Jay as well. Absolutely. But look at Against the Apocalypse. If you want to learn about a system that, explore unfun gameplay that's intended, it is one of these days we want to play a game of it. Just once. Because we don't think we'll ever want to play a second session of it. But we really want to try and play one session of it. It seems nightmarish to play. It's got it throws out all rules for like role play and stuff and goes, role play for this week, being true to what the character would want and would do. Don't try and think about it or build a story out of it. Just do what you think the character would do in this moment. And has incredibly complex rules about measuring bullet drop.
Yeah, you don't
and
measure
the weight of a bullet.
It's very rules allied. It's very like it doesn't care about certain things, but then the things that it does care about are like you have to calculate the drop distance of.
You have to calculate the impact force of a bullet hitting a body. It's more of a math simulator than anything else, but it seems fascinating.
Yeah, I really want to try it.
Truly fascinating. Yeah. One of these days we have to sit down and play it.
Yeah, the implication of the name is also really interesting because it is very like it calls itself an anti-narrative RPG, and it's like against the apocalypse. It is against the philosophies of PBTA in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Kingdom Hearts Dream, Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop. That's what I meant.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. But yeah,
I
so yeah.
I wrote a game that is still not out that well, actually, I get you might be able to get it. Hang on. Tiltify Palestine bundle. Here, actually, here. You can get the game. This is the only way to get this game right now. Follow. I need to actually post about this. Follow this link. Um, you you'll get it as part of like a Google Drive. It's it's called We Who Travel by Starlight. Um, Donate to that fundraiser and you'll receive my game. Uh, and it's probably one
All
of my
right,
favorite
bet.
games that I've ever written. And it is not supposed to be fun for one player, because they are supposed to be uh, the Iron Dome. Like they're supposed to be Israel. In
Good.
in the fiction of the world. Um, and I think it's a pretty good game. I hope you enjoy it if you decide to donate and grab that. Um, I should really post
We're,
about that. I've forgotten to do that.
you really should, honestly, considering
Yeah,
we're in the middle of doing this right now. So
hell yeah. Um, okay, next is question 4. Ba, 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 ba. Do you think that two-player TTRPGs are underexplored? If so, what do you think is missing from that conversation? And if not, what do you think is a good example of something pushing the boundaries? I think. Okay, here's a pretty wild thought. So like when you write a two-player TTRPG, there's an amount of risk that comes into making that. Like when I made Biotronification, like I knew, I knew that I had to
mhm.
make something kind of tight because like I didn't know how well it would do. I didn't know uh, how much people would read of it, and I would really, really like to see a like full adventure ass game with like advancement and progression that is a two-player RPG. Like I would love to
Yeah,
see like Sapphic World Fellowship, Gubat Bonmus like scale TTRPG that can only be played with two players. I think that'd be awesome.
yeah. Honestly, that would be fascinating as an experience to see. Um, there's a game. I mean, tabletop RPGs. We don't think they're underexplored as two-player games. It's just that a lot of them are focused on a moment,
Hmm.
on one sitting down as a session to build for something else. But they have some really cool and unique ideas. We think of another one we played. We've got a friend who loves collecting tabletop RPGs and has thousands of systems. It's wild. We played a game at one point, a two-player RPG to establish a backstory for something else that involved us both sitting on the floor back to back and not looking at each other for like
Ooh,
2 hours,
that's
as we
awesome.
had a bunch of index cards in front of us with various ideas and words written on them, and we would be just doing scenes and all this without ever looking at each other and just using the cards in various ways. It was
Huh.
fascinating. I'll have to get the name from him at some point, but it was a fascinating system. So I think two-player RPGs, the thing about them we think that is, and this kind of also leads back into the medium, the last question of tabletop RPGs being equipped to explore unfun gameplay, is that it's hard to give a definitive answer, we think, to that question. Not because we think it's whether it's unexplored or not. It's more that to properly explore these ideas, I think requires a certain person.
Hmm.
There's a bond, there's a level of trust in those games, in where where a group of people agrees that to play something fundamentally built to be unfun, and also with a two-player game like that, there's a level of trust required that if that is not present, makes it really hard to explore perhaps the themes fully laid out, which I think is an important element to take to this, because to lean into the biotrophication example,
Hmm.
we'd be fascinated to see a pick up and play game of biotrophication with two people who've never spoken before.
Yeah, that's
I'll
gotta
just
be
say that.
wild.
We'd be fascinated to see a game that where both players have never spoken to each other before and did a pick up and play game style. That'd be fascinating to watch. We
Yeah.
don't think it'd be good. We think it would probably fail to get the point a lot of the time, and there'd be elements missing because, again, that's a real hard thing to do,
Be
is role play
awkward.
one on one like someone. Yeah,
Awkward.
But it'd be awkward as hell. But it'd be fascinating to see.
Yeah. No, I totally like. Um, I people are like, who you have is so crucial.
Absolutely.
Hey Lilith, I have good news. You and I are actually doing a two-player Euphoria game. So think about that for a second and die.
Ugh.
That was scary. Sorry, I had a filter set up on the scene, and I've been like very loosely playing with it in the beginning of the episode, like slightly raising the contrast.
See, we've occasionally looked down at the Discord and we've seen the flicker of something, and we didn't see it come on the stream. We're like, huh, wonder what that is. Wonder what's going on there.
Oh, sorry. When you see a flicker, that's me looking at something that has two tabs, like
No,
this.
yeah, no, that's fair, absolutely. But also, just again, playing with that in the background occasionally is just a good time.
Yeah, it's
It's a
fun
good
just to
time.
be able to go. Hang on, like, there's so much. I love OBS is awesome. People like if you're curious about streaming, open up OBS and just start playing toys with it, because like you can just
The ability to build in a flashbang like that is incredibly good.
go all in.
You can do real
You
silly
can just
stuff.
get real weird with it. Like, god damn. I love this like high.
God.
This is like so blown out. You're orange.
God, that's terrifying to see, honestly.
Yeah.
The real blown out nature of it. Hey, we've got an idea. Hey, this is a good filter setup if we want to pull something like this for the fuck coat too, whenever that happens.
Oh,
Just really get into the filters with
Oh
it.
yeah, that would be fun. I love that you can do this.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna stop doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next question. Sorry.
Welcome to DOVECOTE at the discotheque.
Welcome to the fuck code. Kiss
Welcome
me on the
back
mouth.
to the fuck code.
Okay. Next question. How do you think solo play could be integrated or enhanced by technology? Do you think there could be a middle ground between a solo TTRPG and a video game that could preserve the unique qualities of TTRPGs? Oof,
That's a fascinating question, actually.
complex.
That is definitely complex because at its core, like a solo tabletop RPG is, frankly speaking, extended creative writing exercise.
Yeah, I think that's
With
the
your own
important
pace.
thing, is that the difference between a solo TTRPG and a video game, I think, is that a solo TTRPG, the GM element kind of comes from you, and anything that's like technological is some sort of play aid. It's something that's helping you deal with some of the more complex elements of that game, whether it be map play or calculations or whatever.
Yeah. And with a video game as well, part of that is the trust you are handing over that level of control to the developers of the game because you're going to play their story, what has been built, and handing over a level of control that you don't have. Whereas a solo tabletop RPG experience, you still maintain that full control of everything. You are still the one who controls the world. And so I think it's really hard to see that to preserve the unique
Oh
qualities
shit,
of
I didn't mean to
tabletop
hit that,
RPGs.
sorry. Oh god. Sorry.
Funding now.
I need to
go to
messing around with
Kickstarter
stuff.
right now.
It's happening right now.
Anyways, it's hard to maintain that unique quality of tabletop RPG because you're giving up that level of control, and with that, a little bit of the magic vanishes. I think is the best way I can put it. Is that there's still magic to be told in a story told between two people. Don't get us wrong, but it loses a little bit of what is unique to tabletop RPGs, which is, I think, that full element of control.
Yeah, it's the openness. It's the
Yeah.
anything could happen.
Exactly, and you are the one as a tabletop RPG player who builds the fences and the box you are fighting against, as it were.
Yeah, and the system, ideally.
And the system, exactly. The system and the box. And Jay wrote a really good article about like crashing
Yes.
against building a cage that you can crash against because it's fun.
Yeah.
And to do that and combine that with a video game like that is, in some degree, to hand over the creation of that cage to something else. And
Absolutely.
that's where it kind of loses a bit of the element.
Yeah. Uh, I 100% agree. I think like it is important that the system itself is not a is
Mhm.
that the system doesn't think. I guess like the
Yeah,
system is its
yeah,
own thing.
mhm,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, another one. Question 6. Adventure supplements aren't usually as lauded as standalone RPGs. Do you think this will change anytime soon? What's your favorite adventure module you've seen? Do you perhaps think that they may be less popular due to the fact they lack much player-facing content? Um, hmm.
You know,
I, yeah,
hmm. See, unfortunately, I think the biggest example you're going to see for things of adventure supplements that is unfortunately going to be a game like Dungeons and Dragons,
hmm,
where they have bigger things, and there's great examples in the indie space as well of finding supplements, stuff like that. And we personally hope there's a level of appreciation for those, and we hope and encourage that more systems and creators encourage the creation of such supplements, because that's fun. It's fun to see what someone else has done with the toys you've given them. That's a joy, we think.
yeah. I think for me there is
um
like, I think that level of like, you need to have the game and you need to be like, I'm gonna get a supplement for this. Is it does make it trickier. It does create some diminishing
yeah,
returns.
yeah, absolutely. So it's having supplements ideas as like a thing, if you can get your hands on, like, if they can be given away. But of course that makes it harder because then the creator isn't making anything from it. It makes it harder to sustain doing that because we live in a capitalist hellscape,
Yeah.
and
Uh,
that's the problem with creation a
Lilith
lot.
is saying, I think adventure paths suck because they kind of require studying as opposed to like campaign mechanics in Sapphic World. I would also mention Euphoria. I think that that's a
Mhm.
thing of like, you and I really think that. I think that's
Yeah.
like I think that's a preference that you and I have, Lilith.
Mhm.
But I do think that more broadly people like adventure paths because they like just being able to read a thing to their table.
Yeah, and like personally speaking, we're on the same boat with you and Lilith there. We agree with that point. We much prefer, an event like campaign mechanics to build your own story around it. We think that's more fun. But we can see the appeal of we've mentioned your game on stream a couple times, Lilith. Come on. It's fine. It's fine. We've talked about it a few times already this stream. You should also plug your game more. Come on.
Yeah, yeah,
Do it.
yeah. You should.
Do it more. But I think, again, having a lack of player facing content does make it harder to really appreciate that,
Yeah. Do you have a
because,
favorite module?
yeah, do I have a favorite?
Oh
Oof,
God.
oof. Unfortunately, all I can think of is bad examples of
I'm not a
modules that I
module head
hate.
is the thing. I just I guess it's kind of a blind spot for me, honestly.
uh, so we do have a favorite module. It is one written by our a very close friend of ours for the Call of Cthulhu system,
Mhm.
uh, called Whispers in the Attic. And it's a fun little module because, well, our friend's a good writer. It's a fun little time. I don't know if you'll be able to find it. It's on like Director RPG or something.
Hmm.
Um, but it's an interesting little module. It does some fun stuff, but it's fun. And honestly, our level of fun with it might have just had something to do with the fact that we know the guy,
That'll do it.
and and he ran it, and it was a grand old time. Uh, if you want bad examples, hey, Curse of Strahd. Curse of Strahd sucks. We'll say it. This is our statement. We'll step up here. Curse of Strahd fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of folks we've seen talk about like Curse of Strahd and the old Strahd modules and stuff from every edition that have been like, oh, a great example of like adventure supplements and that sort of thing, and modules and stuff. And Curse of Strahd fucking sucks.
It's rather bad.
It's just bad. What if Dracula was sauceless?
What if he had no swag is the problem?
What if he had negative swagger? What if
Yeah.
he just sucked? Like, that's it. It's a badly written module, and we just think it sucks.
Fair.
Having a reputation for in your module for, oh yeah, this section is called the kill house because it kills you.
This is my
You're stupid.
I think we're coming up on time here, so I think we're gonna wrap up.
That's fair.
Grief, thank you so much for being here. Do you have anything you want to promote and send folks
First of all,
towards?
thank you very much for having us here. It was a
Of
joy to be
course.
here, and we rambled a lot more than we thought we were coming in, but you know what? That's how we are. You can catch us 2 to 3 times a week on our own Twitch stream, playing a variety of games. Sometimes we do art, but mostly we play whatever game strikes our fancy any given day. Do we have anything big coming up? Not really off the cuff, except perhaps like end of the month. We did a crowd control thing with Elden Ring last week, and we're planning for early May, we think, around there. We want to do something similar with a game that we enjoyed much less, which is Fallout 4.
Fair.
We want to do Fallout 4, but messed the fuck up by the people. We don't have anything big coming up otherwise, though, we think. But hey, if you want to come watch our stuff, we appreciate it.
Hell
We
yeah.
appreciate it greatly. That's all we got, yeah.
Oh, you got who do I raid?
Who do we raid?
I'm like so split because there's so many people I want to raid right now. Let me just refresh to make sure that these people are still live.
Good plan. Good plan.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna raid Mousewife. Go say hi to my friend.
Go say hi to our wonderful friend Marcy.
Marcy
Who's been mentioned several times on this stream.
Yeah. Wait, did we mention Mousewife? Oh yeah, I did. Never mind.
Yeah, you talked about playing Interstitial with Marcy and Melody.
I did. Yeah, go say hi to Marcy.
Yeah, go say hi.
She's playing Pizza Tower as the noise. So go encourage her to make
She's
some
very
noise.
good at the game, honestly. It's kind of scary.
Yeah. And take care, everyone. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Remember, if you don't like what you see, you can change it. It's up to you, really. Goodbye, good luck, and have fun